Welcome to the Stop Wearing My Clothes podcast. I'm Kayla. We are doing one podcast, two sisters, but minus one sister. Amy is not feeling too well, but I have an amazing special surprise guest. Or not surprise, I posted it, but his name is Maxx with two X's. I think that's super cool. We go into why. There's not really a why, but I ask. And we talk all about Bachelor. This is episode 25, Bachelor Week 4 recap. And we have some things to say. Though, I mean, we mostly talked about shrimp the whole time, just like the episode. So if you are hungry, I'd go get the shrimp now and then come back and listen to the rest of the episode. All right, I have our special guest to replace Amy. Maybe if he's good enough, we'll just fire her for good and he'll be our new guest host. We have Maxx with two X's. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, everyone. Glad to be here.
Is Maxx your full name or is it like Maximilian?
It's just Maxx.
Just Maxx with the double, like, what was your mom, like, what'd your mom say? Have you ever asked her about the added X?
I have. I really think it was as simple as they just wanted to be cool or unique.
Something different.
Gotcha.
There
was no deep reason behind it, yeah.
Yeah, my name was from a soap opera character that my mom was really into.
So that's why you're so dramatic. And that's
yes, and it's perfect for the most dramatic season yet of The Bachelor. Let's get into The Bachelor.
Amazing.
Yes. Well, first of all, what do you think of Jesse Palmer, the new host, versus like Chris Harrison or Tayshia and Caitlin, whatever?
I think he graduated Chris Harrison school.
He might as well just be like he brings nothing to the table for me. Nothing.
Right. Well, I mean, who would you prefer? Did you have anyone in mind that you would have rather taken that spot?
Wells Adams.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That would have made sense. Were they
so much better? He was in the running and legit lost it to Jesse Palmer. Bad choice. Just saying.
Yeah. Wells is
yeah. So what got you into watching The Bachelor?
So an ex-girlfriend of mine was a big fan, and she convinced me to watch the first episode of Colton season with her, and I was immediately hooked. So good. I mean, I don't know. It was just something to look forward to it's like, since it's on during the week and not much happens during the week, it's like that thing that you can look forward to. So I was very much looking forward to all the drama every week. And then I got into it. I was a fan. I watched Tayshia and Matt James and Katie seasons. Yeah.
Nice. And you said, which one did you say? Oh, and which one would you say is your favorite?
Probably Colton's. It may have something to do with the fact that it was the first one that I watched all the way through.
Sure. But that first sense of Bachelor wonder. You can't have that ever again.
The clear last place is Matt James's season. I will say that.
Yeah, that's just the whole series just kind of blew up. But they're surprisingly still together and seem to be happy. They actually like just went back to wherever they were, like Nemacolin. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but they just went back to the place that they met, Rachel and Matt, and they're still in love. So good for them.
Yeah, that is. I am happy for them, and I'm glad that he, even with everything that happened, like, I don't know. The fact that he gave her a second chance and like it's worked out, I don't know. A lot of people.
I mean, whatever's right for them is how we probably only know like such a small portion. Right. Your job. That's part of the reason that got you here, because you've met some Bachelor Nation. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, so I was the content creator for Chicago Helicopter Experience. And we would always be trying to get influencers to come in and take a ride on the helicopter in exchange for either a social media post or in exchange for us to, film some content, take some photos, and have that for ourselves. And so the first Bachelor people that we had on were Katie Morton and Chris Bukowski.
Oh, okay.
So Katie was on Colton's season, I believe. Yes.
Yes. Yeah,
And
because they were on Bachelor in Paradise together, right?
they were on Bachelor in Paradise together, and the finale hadn't aired yet when they took the helicopter ride. So the marketing associate and she watched it too. And so we would kind of like chat about what we thought. And we were throwing out these predictions, and I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure Katie and Chris are like still together. And she's like, I don't know. And then the next day or so, she was like, you're never going to believe it. We have Katie and Chris coming tomorrow, but you can't tell anyone because it hasn't aired yet, right?
Yeah.
I was like, I knew it. And Katie was great, bubbly, fun, super sweet. Chris,
Really?
so she's so out of his league.
She's beautiful, and he's kinda like old school. He's like he should be in that new Bachelor show that they're gonna do with the senior citizens. He's
That would
pretty old school bachelor.
that would be hilarious. I mean, that's genius. They should have him on.
Yeah, I know. And you met Tyler Cameron too, right?
I did. So I remember looking at the schedule, and sometimes she would just be like, "Oh, you need to be here at this time," because I was the point man for whoever would come in that was like semi-famous or whatever. And the name was Dustin. So I'm like, oh, I have no idea who this is. Probably some small influencer. It was Dustin Kendrick because he lives in Chicago. So I didn't know that until I see Tyler Cameron walk in because I was sitting there waiting, and whoever was supposed to be coming in, they were 20 minutes late. And finally, I see Tyler Cameron walk in, and I'm texting my friend at the time. I'm like, you're never going to believe who it is. And in walks him, Dustin Kendrick, Matt James, and then Mateo from, I think he was also on Hannah B's season.
Yeah, I think I slightly remember him. So Tyler Cameron's not punctual.
Not at all. Not at all. And they were having like a guys' night out, so they were probably, I don't know what they were doing beforehand, but
Gotcha.
well, I have a feeling I do know because Tyler was stoned as shit. He came
Was this
in.
around the Gigi era? When he dated Gigi, like the top like model?
Right. It was. And it was in October of 2019 to be exact.
Gotcha. Okay. It could have been.
It was maybe a
Gotcha.
little bit before that. But yeah, he was just visiting, and he was really quiet, like I said. Didn't have too much to say. And but Matt James was super nice, super friendly, very outgoingly like nice to all of us. And then they were just, a group of guys having fun. They were cool.
Yeah, I feel like Tyler Cameron's kind of the George Clooney of Bachelor Nation. Like he's been on Saturday Night Live. He dated Gigi Hadid. Like he's next level. Like legit, he's too big to be the Bachelor. Like he's above it. Don't you
Right.
think?
No, I agree. I would be
I feel like they've probably behind scenes just begged him.
Yeah, no, I bet they have. And he also has no reason because every girl in America wants him.
Exactly. I mean, I guess money, he probably could get it. They get a good chunk. They could get like $500,000 or $1 million, couple 100,000, like depending on who they are. But I bet he could make bank.
No, he definitely could. Yeah. I mean, that would be a season that everyone tuned into.
For sure. For sure. Oh, a girl can dream.
He would probably be the highest paid bachelor if he
Oh,
agreed.
easily. I think easily. I know they always joked about back when Chris Harrison was the host that Chris Harrison was going to be the bachelor once him and his wife divorced. That would have been the ultimate.
Would he have been the host as well? He would like talk.
Probably not. Could you imagine him going back and forth?
He would talk to the women and then turn to the camera and be like, "Coming up," like it would be ridiculous.
I know.
Who are you talking to?
I always forget that Jesse Palmer, the really boring host we have now, used to be a bachelor, but that was like back in the day when my mom still watched it. That was before my time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, they asked him. He comes out on what was it, like night one, and he's like, "This process, it does work." And they're like, "Yeah, because you're like happily married now, right?" He's like, "Yes." And I'm thinking, not to the woman that you chose, though.
I was thinking the same thing. But I like how they left that part out. It made a better picture.
Mm-hmm. It painted a way better picture of the show. Mm-hmm.
All right, we got Bachelor news. Did you watch Bachelor in Paradise this last summer?
I did. believe it or not, I was back home and I watched numerous episodes with my mom. I made her watch it with me.
Amazing. Like me and Amy have decided, Bachelor in Paradise is just so superior to all of the other shows. I can't wait.
It's so good. It's so good.
So superior. So I don't know if you've been keeping up with the three couples, but we've got one that's bitten the dust. Riley and Marissa broke up. But
Yep.
then we got some good news on what are their names? Kenny and Mari. Remember them? Naked guy.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They have just moved in together. So I think before they weren't even in like the same town.
They were
So
they you know what? They went through some stuff to get to where they are.
I am shocked they're still together. Truly
Mhm.
shocked.
Yep. Yeah, but good for them.
Um
Mhm.
And I think Grocery Store Joe and Serena are just rolling. I think if they aren't already together, I think they're
Go
playing in
on.
like April, moving in together, but they're in Chicago.
Yeah, and so is Kenny. They're like they do like double dates and stuff.
Yeah, they're besties. So Bachelor in Paradise couples living their best lives, other
And
than
then
Riley and Marissa. Um,
Noah and Abigail, right?
Oh my God, how did I forget about them? Yeah, Noah and Abigail too. There's rumors. So they've been kind of traveling the world together. And then there's rumors that he's a nurse. So he has to, COVID and the world ending. So he's got work to do. And so Abigail, I guess, might move in with him, but it's just kind of in the rumor mill. You know, those TikToks that I just go through and
Yeah.
they aren't
Yeah.
verified by anyone. I just listen.
Yeah, it's fun to listen. I was rooting for them though. She's just the sweetest person.
I love them. Yeah, I'm obsessed with her. I think they could go the long haul for sure.
Mhm.
And then another big thing, Ashley and Jared, which we're talking about Bachelor in Paradise couples. Ashley, I, and Jared Haben? They're Bachelor in Paradise royalty, Max. They were on seasons
Started
2
late.
and 3.
I started late, remember?
I
Like
know,
way
I know.
late.
Wait, was this the first Bachelor in Paradise season you watched this last
No,
year?
watched the first one was 2019 and then they took a break, right? So I've seen
Mm.
didn't they
Gotcha. Well, they really have a crazy past, and it's kind of insane that they are ever together. They went on Bachelor in Paradise twice together, where pretty much Jared said no to her a billion times, but now they're married and they just had a baby.
Oh wow,
Long
well
story short.
congrats
So
to them.
his name is Dawson. They named him after the Titanic character by Leonardo DiCaprio,
Yeah,
not
that's
Dawson's
I
Creek.
love
So they've got a cute little baby.
that. Mhm. That's so
Um,
it's a good
And
name.
that's kind of it. Do you know of anything else going on in the world?
For in the just like outside of this current season of The Bachelor.
It could be in it too, but no, that's all I could gather up. It was kind of a light week.
Yeah, I don't have anything off the top of my head, no.
Tyler didn't call you to get stoned with them or anything.
I haven't talked to him in about a month or so. We talk once a month, and he used to come by the crib, but not so much anymore. No.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I thought I'd ask. All right. Now it's time. This is the reason why we are all here today. The recap. So, have you watched Clayton's season?
I
Ish.
I've seen I saw last night's episode. I saw the first and second episode, but I wasn't able to catch the third. I watched a recap. So I'm all caught up and I watched the most current. So
Gotcha. So, what are you thinking so far? And you can be completely honest because me and Amy think it's such a snore.
uh I will say that I'm really mad that I didn't think of this sooner. I should have brought shrimp on the podcast with me. Like the cocktail.
Shrimp
Uh
gate. Do you like shrimp?
I love shrimp.
Shrimp's the best. I understand the intensity of the passion here.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only thing I agree on with Shanae. Like, I don't
Shan-
like her. I'm not a fan. Not
Shanae
that,
is
but
nuts. I know. The first thing I have on here is Shanae versus Elizabeth. I would love a guy's perspective because as a girl, girl drama, I've been in a few little tangles. I'm just curious how you see that. And like as a guy, as Clayton, do you think just talk about it. I need to know
yeah,
what you think.
I have thoughts. I have thoughts.
Okay.
First of all, I don't know how anyone could watch that show and then go on the show and make the same mistake that past villains have made. Like, how do you not have the self awareness that you're just making huge mistakes and your reputation's going to be like, I mean, maybe it'll work out for her, you know. Maybe she's probably still got a huge fan base, whatever.
Probably. I mean, yeah.
But Team Elizabeth, I mean, Shanae, I think, is so immature, and you can just tell in a lot of the interactions, especially on the episode from last night. She knew she was in the wrong. She had no argument. She had nothing to defend herself with, but she was too stubborn to apologize, and she's too much of a competitor. There's another thing. She sees the whole thing as a competition.
Yeah, she uses the
No,
word winning and stuff like that.
it's horrible. She knows she's hot, and the fact that Clayton kept her on over Elizabeth, I think Clayton's super immature. B, I think he just finds her really attractive, and
That
that's it.
has to be it.
There's
Like,
more there. And
yeah,
then
because like literally right after like all these girls tell him about her, he's like throwing her up on bars and getting it on.
he's a kid who is excited by a shiny toy, and it's going to come back to bite him in the ass. And I mean, maybe the editors did some use their magic to trick us here, but in the preview for the whole entire season, they imply that Shanae's there at the end. And if that's true, that sucks because she's so awful.
So awful. I feel like anyone in their right mind, like I get guys and their penises, and sometimes it tells you to go a certain way. I get it. But Elizabeth is beautiful. Like, I think she might be one of the prettiest people on the season. And it's just so interesting to me. I kind of have a question for you because I feel like Elizabeth was really trying to take the high road with this whole thing. And I was really trying to say, how would I navigate it? Or how could have she navigated it where she ended up in a better position? And I'm not sure if there's anything she could have done. I think Shanae is just a master manipulator. And Elizabeth tried her best to like stay like respectable.
She did. She did a good job. She did a better job than a lot of people in that position have done, at least from my observation.
I
Shanae, like
agree.
I said, master manipulator. Elizabeth, there's like a fine line between like totally ignoring someone and like confronting the conversation. Elizabeth knew that she had to confront the conversation, and in that, she somewhat kind of got roped into Shanae's whole thing, but still didn't get carried away with it. She was still way more mature, and you could just tell by her kind of breaking down and being like, I cannot believe that I am a part of this. I feel so bad that I'm a part of this. I think she apologized to the girls for taking time away from them. Like,
It has
she
to be
apologized.
embarrassing for her. She doesn't want to be involved in Shrimpgate.
No one wants to be involved in any kind of gate, and especially not with our beloved crustacean that is so delicious. Like,
It's so true. And even like I almost died when like right after their conversations with the three of them about them fighting about shrimp, and then she goes and gets sushi with shrimp and goes into the room. Like she's
no.
playing this character and she knows what she's doing. Off camera, she admits it. And so it's really interesting now that because Clayton doesn't know what's going on. So now he does. And I guess he's been tweeting. He's like, I'm going to have so much to say on the Women Tell All. I did not know this was happening. And he's going to realize
Well,
he made some really stupid decisions.
he didn't know anything was happening is because he chose to ignore it. I mean, he was told what was happening by multiple people, but I mean, you saw him put her up on the bar, Shanae.
And I love how she says, I know I got him, just the way he looks at me. She's like, I know I got him. Like,
Yeah, and well, the fact that they show her there later on, and we saw her immediately after kissing him. She goes out and takes the trophy and throws it into the grass. The fact that she's not gone the next week because of those women telling Clayton this, like how
he had to have known about the trophy, like when it happened.
there's no way he doesn't hear about that next episode. And the fact that he keeps her around, like I've lost all hope for this guy. I
I
don't think
know.
he deserves the women that are there for him and that are great people.
There's some hotties. I was gonna ask you because we don't get a lot of guys on the podcast. Who are like your like top favorites for Clayton season?
I mean, like my favorites are never like the hottest per se. I mean, I think Teddy and Gabby are really great. I think Teddy's super cute.
Teddy and Gabby are mine top two too.
I mean, they're
Sorry, I'm
great.
really excited about that. Yes, Teddy is beautiful. I'm excited to get more of her personality. And Gabby is just hilarious, and we will be seeing her on Bachelor in Paradise 2022.
Yeah, yeah, I'm excited for that. I think she's wonderful. I Clayton went on a date with Rachel last night,
Mm,
and I have nothing I have no reason to dislike her, but part of me is also watching this and from a guy's perspective thinking, yep, Clayton is kind of roped into her whole thing, but they're not compatible in my opinion. And
interesting. What makes you
she
say that?
um
I had a different take on the 101, so I'm
yeah,
curious. Like to me, they had I could feel the chemistry off the screen. Like I felt like, oh wow, like
I
they need to
very
get a
well
room.
could be wrong. I very well could be wrong. I think, and it's more of like a vibe that I pick up when it comes to like people's auras. I don't know. I just don't think they're right for each other. And I think she's also way too excited and giddy. And I think overly excited and giddy to the point that it's a little fraudulent. I don't
Like
think she's
she's
into
team. I
him.
want to be Bachelorette next season.
I truly think, but she's doing it in a smart way.
Mm,
Um, like she's not going to come out and say that. She's probably maybe she would even like be with him at the end of it, but like
interesting.
I don't I mean, I don't think anyone could be that into him this early. Like he's not that great. And
He really isn't.
for someone like her, like he said on their dinner date, like how is someone so beautiful and talented and smart like you still single? Like she doesn't have to be single. And she I think is a little bit even out of Clayton's league, which makes
All the girls are.
I think most of the girls are out of Clayton's league in
I
general. Yeah.
agree.
Um, but she's she's like a little more like city posh. I just don't think he's someone
Interesting.
that she's
Okay.
looking for, and I think it's a bit of a gimmick.
Okay. Well, talking of gimmicks, when we're talking about their one-on-one, the way that they just went up and tried to naturally say it's like a normal thing and be like, "Oh, there's a family doing a barbecue. It's acceptable for us to go and just ask these strangers if we could eat with them and touch their food." And they tried to make it some type of scenario that would happen in real life. That would never happen in real. It was so cringy and
It was
weird. I'm like, this
super
is their date to just go up to a random family and eat their food?
yeah, it was super weird, and like in her shoes, can you imagine like being picked for a one on one and having this magical? You're envisioning something magical, and then you get there, and it's like an outdoor barbecue with a bunch of random strangers that you have to like small talk with for an hour.
I
Like,
would be so awkward. Small talk's not my thing.
I'd be like, "Ah, I wish you would have picked someone else for this." Damn.
Agreed. Agreed. Let's talk about that group date. I had like 13 women. They played football. The winning team gets to spend time with Clayton. Those ones where people get hurt always make me so nervous. I get like really like
I think it's ridiculous that they do it. I mean, like, I
do
know they had
you
pads on and stuff, but the fact that these girls are so competitive and it is so like full of tension, that's just like not worth getting someone seriously injured over.
No,
I
I
just
would be so scared. I would just like legit say no because I don't want to be tackled. I have a small frame. I could get broken in half. No
I know,
thanks.
I know. It was I mean, it's like entertaining, sure, but it seems
Yeah,
it's always so unnecessary.
agreed. And so then we have the team that Shanae is not on wins.
I was
They
rooting
go to only half of them. What would
mhm.
you say?
I was definitely rooting for that team, believe me.
Yeah. And guess what happens? Shanae goes anyway because quote unquote she deserves it. And it was definitely interesting because I believe it's Sarah was on the couch with Clayton, and then she read, and I kind of read the body language too to be kind of like, what are you doing? I think he just felt kind of awkward with Sarah, but as soon as Sarah was gone, he like asked his mandatory questions because he feel like he had to because the camera was watching him. But very quickly, I mean, we've talked about the bar makeout sesh and everything. Like he
As soon as she gave
he
him
didn't care what her answers were.
as soon as she gave him a BS answer, that was what he wanted to hear. He was like, he apologized. He's like, sorry for like having to ask that. Like, dude, come on.
I
It was
know.
ridiculous. And then what was her face? One of the previous women told him about Shanae, was telling him about Shanae, and then
Sierra and Genevieve did.
he was like, weren't you tackling her when she didn't even have the ball? Like, Clayton, why are
I
you why are
know.
you trying to like he's totally like wanting to see what he wants to see. This is the
Mhm.
third or fourth girl that's come up to him and told him about Shanae, and yet he's still like then he tries to like pin it on her. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's really weird that he's holding on to her so tight. I do not get it, especially when he's got all these gals. Like, I actually was gonna, I had a different take. I really thought Rachel was like one of the front. Like, I could see her winning the whole thing because of that date. For some reason, I just felt like that tension, and, but I also, I mean, Teddy did get the first impression rose, but then we've got Sarah, but then we have this editing trick where we think they told us the top 3, but we aren't sure. And if Shanae's really in the top 3, I'm gonna lose my mind.
I will be upset. I mean, I think I'm rooting for anyone except for her. I mean, look,
I am really excited for the moment that Elizabeth and Shanae end up on Bachelor in Paradise at the same time. You know that's gonna happen.
ooh, yeah, you do.
I always the first thing I think of when people get kicked off or I look at the cast is just like, "Oh my goodness, who's going to go on Bachelor in Paradise?" Cuz that's my the highlight of my bachelor year. Especially I just feel like they're overdoing it a little bit. Just like there's no waiting anymore. It's literally just like back to back to back to back seasons. So I don't know. It makes Bachelor in Paradise kind of like a fresh breath of air.
It is. It is. I mean, uh, you know, the Bachelor and Bachelorette franchise seems, at least for me, it's more of like a job to stay up to date with everything and know everyone. But like Bachelor in Paradise, it's just like a big ball of fun every week.
It's so
You know,
fun. I know, I love it.
it's just constant drama and hotness and
Yep.
entertainment. And I love the David Spade stuff and like the different people they brought on. Like that was a fun
I was
twist.
gonna mention that. David Spade was my favorite, just because I love like Tommy Boy is one of my favorite movies.
Mhm.
And David Spade, but I do think if I had to choose a host, like long term, I don't know if they're gonna continue to do the celebrity. I would choose either David Spade full time or Wells Adams. And they probably can't afford David Spade. So I'm assuming Wells Adams.
Yeah, it'll probably be Wells, but
That's what I'm hoping at least. If
is he
they
gonna
bring
like
Jesse to the beach, no one wants to see that.
do they get a new bartender then?
Maybe grocery store Joe, because he's
He
awesome.
would be great. He would be
Right?
he would be the best bartender.
Yeah, and with his accent, I feel like he would need, like, the towel and, like, kinda throw it over his, like,
I guess
shoulder.
he's also like I mean everyone likes him and he's older and has great advice and like he I feel like people would confide in him. He would be
Yeah, and
perfect.
being in a successful bachelor couple, they usually give those people more opportunities.
Or me. I you know.
Okay, so, producers, Max wants to be bartender on Bachelor in Paradise, so this is his
Producers
audition tape.
producers tune into this show, right?
Yes, all of them, all the important ones. What's the best bartender drink that you would serve people?
I mean, for the guys, a Manhattan,
Alright, alright.
and for the ladies, I mean, I think I would just be super cheesy and make sex on the beach, and then they would get like they would like giggle, and then they'd be like, "No, like make me an actual drink," and be like, "You
The
got
bartender's going after the bachelorettes. Those guys need to be worried on the beach.
it." That's also one thing. Like, do you ever think any of those girls had a crush on Wells and like or like wanted was like kind of low key wanted
Yes.
to like get to know him instead.
The only thing is he's in a pretty high profile relationship with Sarah Hyland, which is like an actual celebrity. Other than like Tyler Cameron, he's Wells Adams is the only other one who's actually is like I think they're not married yet, but they are engaged. Him and Sarah Hyland. She was in Modern Family.
Okay.
But I mean, all of them have to have a crush on him. I'm sure.
Yeah, he seems like a great dude.
For sure. All right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the end of our recap. Thank you for jumping
Question for
on.
you.
Oh, okay.
Question before we go, because I was just thinking about this. I know you got your mans, all right, but is there a bachelor or contestant that like who is your favorite? Who, if you could be with one of those guys and
Mm-hmm.
anyone come to mind? I don't know how to ask this question because I know you're a taken
No,
woman.
of course. Oh yeah. Grocery Store Joe is my number one. Will always be. Like, I have Marcus's permission if I run into him. Like, it's going on. And then
Whenever I'm back in Chicago, I'll let him know you say hi.
I know I was gonna say you might have the hookup, and I actually like Nick Viall.
Oh, okay, yeah. He always stays relevant, doesn't he?
Yeah, his podcast is pretty big, and he does like dating tips and everything like that. Those are the top two. I mean, I think Wells Adams is cute too. I saw him once at a Jonas Brothers concert. So we were both
really?
at box seats. So we
Hey,
kind of dated, if you count that.
I'm not the only one that's met Bachelor people here. You met Katie recently.
Yeah, I met Katie Thurston, and then I told this story last episode, but Amanda Stanton, do you remember her? She like had she walked in. I was doing an interview for like a PR showroom, and she interrupted my interview because she needed to get some clothes from the PR showroom or something. I was like, oh my God, this is Amanda Stanton. I was pretty excited.
That's funny. Nice.
All right. And so this is going to be coming out on Wednesday. We have a relationship episode coming out on Sunday. So 2 episodes this week. Make sure you follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, Pinterest. I might have said that already, but I'm posting like 3 times a day on TikTok to try to get that algorithm up. So TikTok, lots of extra content. Maxx just followed us on Instagram. I'm mad at him, but I'm getting over it. But yeah, we post a bunch. Make sure you leave us a review on Apple Podcast. What else do we want you to do? Leave an email, stopwearingmyclothespodcast@gmail.com for relationship advice or bachelor hot takes. Any leaving words, Maxx?
No, I was gonna add in there like my Venmo in case anyone was feeling like
if you really like Maxx and you want him to make you a sex on the beach, we'll tag him here.
Dinner first, though. All right.
Yes, perfect. All right, thank you.
Thank you.